Some crimes are so horrific that they jar us to our soul. And of course, I'm speaking about this poor young mom, 26 years old, who answers a Craigslist ad for baby clothes, goes to the woman's house. Dinell Lane is her name. There's her pictures, 34 years old. She attacks this mother and literally cuts her baby out. The baby dies. The mom, it looks like she's going to live. And this mother, we have to just grieve with her. She will never get over this. She will never get over this. How can a human being even survive something this horrific? And it's proper that we should react in this way. It's proper that we should be horrified, that we should grieve, maybe that we weep, that we pray. But there are crimes that are going on that should elicit the same response from us, but don't. And that is a great danger for us. I'm going to read to you a passage from the book of Ezekiel about the judgment of God, who gets judged and who gets passed over, and why the judgment comes. I'm going to read it to you. But before I do, I want to point out the obvious. This poor little baby, and this tragedy for this mom. Another woman, 7 months pregnant, could go to many abortion mills in this country and could have that baby killed. Not by partial birth abortion, but by another means, by burning the baby to death with a saline solution, by injecting a poison through a huge needle right through the uterine wall, right into the baby's heart, causing a heart attack, and then giving her a prostaglandin so that she goes into labor and contracts and delivers a dead baby. There are other means as well. This is going on in America every day. Every day. And then, of course, that's for viable babies. Then, of course, 3,000 times a day, little babies, 10 weeks old, 11 weeks old, 12 weeks old, babies who are sucking their thumbs in their mother's womb, swimming around. These babies are butchered. Their bodies are thrown in sewers, landfills. Some of their bodies are harvested and sold. The body parts are sold. But some of us no longer grieve over that. Some of us no longer grieve. We've gotten callous to those crimes. But those crimes against these babies are just as newsworthy. In other words, if a plane ran into a building every day in America, like at 9/11, and 3,000 innocent people were killed, it would be horrific news every day. It would not go away. But because this happens in the darkness and in the shadows of abortion mills, because some of these women are our friends, our neighbors, our relatives, we've lost the sense of horror to our own danger. Now listen to this passage. This is from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9. The judgment of God is about to descend on Israel. And you will remember that the Babylonians came and ultimately destroyed the city. They destroyed the temple. And they slaughtered tens of thousands of people and then took a remnant captive. Then I heard him call out in a loud voice, "Bring near those who are appointed to execute judgment on the city, each with a weapon in his hand." And I saw 6 men coming from the direction of the upper gate, which faces north, each with a deadly weapon in his hand. With them was a man clothed in linen, who had a writing kit at his side. They came in and stood beside the bronze altar. Now the glory of the God of Israel went up from above the cherubim where it had been and moved to the threshold of the temple. That means that the glory of God is departing from Israel. He's so angry with them. His spirit is leaving the temple. Then the Lord called to the man clothed in linen who had the writing kit at his side and said to him, "Go throughout the city of Jerusalem and put a mark on the foreheads of those who grieve and lament over all the detestable things that are done in it. Another translation says, put a mark on the foreheads of those who sigh and who cry, who weep, who grieve, who lament over all the detestable things. As I listened, he said to the others, these are the ones with the weapons, follow him through the city and kill, without showing pity or compassion. Slaughter the old men, the young men and women, the mothers and children, but do not touch anyone who has the mark. Begin at my sanctuary. So they began with the old men. Another translation says the elders. They began with the elders who were in front of the temple. I'm going to finish this chapter, but listen to me. What does it say? Begin at my sanctuary. Peter wrote, judgment begins at the house of God. Then he said to them, defile the temple and fill the courts with the slain. Go! So they went out and began killing throughout the city. While they were killing and I was left alone, I fell face down, crying out, alas, sovereign Lord, are you going to destroy the entire remnant of Israel in this outpouring of your wrath on Jerusalem? He answered me, the sin of the people of Israel and Judah is exceedingly great. The land is full of bloodshed, and the city is full of injustice. They say, the Lord has forsaken the land, the Lord does not see. So I will not look on them with pity or spare them. I will bring down on their own heads what they have done. So Ezekiel cries out, God, are you going to destroy everyone? God says, no. He didn't destroy them all because he found those who grieved and who lamented and cried and sighed. He marked them. Why did this judgment come? The sin is exceedingly great. The land is full of bloodshed. If you read Psalm 106, if you read 2 Kings chapter 21 and 2 Kings chapter 24, this passage, the land full of bloodshed, refers to child killing. They shed innocent blood, the blood of their sons and their daughters, and the land was polluted with the blood. And God brought judgment on them. So my question is, do we sigh? Do we cry over the ongoing bloodshed? Not just of this one poor little baby and this poor mom, but the thousands of babies who are dying every day in America. We're reaching a point where there's going to be no return, and God is going to send out his judgment because of the bloodshed. Who will be spared in that judgment? Possibly, such as this passage says, those who sigh, those who cry about these detestable acts. Do you want to get America out of the hands of wicked and unjust men and women who are destroying the republic before our eyes, and put leadership back into the hands of righteous men and women so that we don't die as a nation? Well, you're talking about social revolution, and there are rules in social revolution. We can look at the victorious social revolutions of the past, such as the end of slavery, the end of child labor, women's voting rights, the end of segregation, and so much more, and learn from their victories. Look at their actions, their images, their rhetoric, their sacrifices, and their final fruit. We will send you this series that originally cost $129, 7 books for students, 1 teacher's guide, if you'll give a gift of any size and just pay for shipping and handling. Take advantage of it today.